What's up, everyone? This is BigPowner, and today I am going to be covering the subject of magic find gear. Is it worthwhile investing in? I do have experience with this. I have completely min-maxed a character that I specialized for a magic find. Um, I had over 400% magic find. I had all of the top quantity pieces. I invested a shit ton into magic find and quantity. How did it work out for me? Absolutely horribly. I felt so poor playing that build that it was ridiculous. And it wasn't just like, oh, my currency's about the same and I was expecting more. No, it was like I was already making a lot of currency. I was convinced to try out Magic Find. I invested a bunch into it and went into it open-mindedly. I didn't just play this for a day. I didn't just play it for 2 days. I played it for 2 weeks. And it was so noticeable how much less currency that I was making because I was used to crafting, I was used to gambling, I was used to investing in my builds, and I couldn't do any of that. I felt so poor, it was ridiculous because I was just making so much less currency than I was before. The thing is it's not just a feeling. It wasn't just a feeling, it was actuality. And there's the reason why I was skeptical in the first place is because all of the content that I've seen where people are like, use Magic Find, it didn't make sense to me. And there's a few reasons why. The biggest one is this. Anytime someone tells you, put on this Magic Find gear and run these low tier maps and you're going to make a ton of currency, that is retarded. Why is it retarded? Because your drops scale by the level that you're on. It used to be when I tried Magic Find, it was at the best possible chance that it could have been rewarding, and it still wasn't. And what do I mean by that? The way that the system used to work is like Tier 1, Tier 16. Tier 16 did not have the best drops for currency. It still had the best drops, and running it consistently was still the most profitable thing. Why is that? Because it dropped good gear, which we all know which is going to be more valuable, a really good piece of gear or an exalt. A really good piece of gear is going to be the better drop because it can be worth multiple exalts. And in some cases, it can be worth 30, 40, 50 exalts. Sorry, one second. So, on top of that, what doesn't make sense is whether people are saying it, usually in a lot of the videos that I've seen. I haven't watched videos on this subject for a long time. And the reason why is because they're pretty much the same every single season. They're like, buy all this Magic Find gear, run this low tier map, and just do it fast. So you're getting worse drops. Because now the way it works, tier 16s are the best. This changed 2 seasons ago. The higher you go, the better your chances are to get top tier currency. It's been that way for 2 seasons. So now tier 16 is the absolute best for drops, period. There's no disputing it. On top of that, what is it that a lot of these videos are saying to do? They're telling you to basically it's normally like just out and go, just out and go, just go fast. The problem with this is you're basically getting an end gear set of gear for farming currency because what does it take? It takes an investment to buy this extra set of gear. So you're buying basically your end goal gear for farming. And what is it that the end goal for that gear is? It's to run basically low tier, low quantity, and low rarity maps. Which, what does that mean? I'm giving up quantity and rarity on maps to add quantity and rarity to my gear, which it's not an even trade. And the reason why is because when I put on Magic Find gear, I'm losing stats, which makes my build slower. It makes it so I can't do as hard of stuff, which is more harder is more rewarding. This is even just based on previous seasons. This season, it's even worse to run Magic Find gear, and why is that? Because now we have a multiplier basically for our maps. We have the Awakener level. So on our Awakener level, it gives 24% increased effect on the modifiers. So we can roll a map up to 150% quantity. On top of that, we can add fragments to it, which then gives us 170% quantity, which then on top of that is going to get increased by 24% at Awakener level 8. That's over 200% quantity. So what does this mean? This means that instead of running a hard map at over 200% quantity, which they're not all going to come out like that. I mean, 140, what would it be like? 100, around like 140 plus would be over 200% quantity. Uh, 186 plus 164, 24, 186, that'd be 212. So 140% base map would be 212% quantity. All of the Magic Find builds are always like, you gotta add quantity, which this is the thing, one of the things that doesn't make sense to me. Maps have more quantity than they do have rarity. So why is it, like, on what factual basis does it make sense for me to run a low quantity map and add quantity, which there's no quantity items that add, 100% quantity like there are Magic Find. So in order for even a Magic Find build to make sense, it would be prioritizing rarity, but that's not what they tell you to do. Maybe there is someone that tells you to do that, but I'm telling you for a fact, neither one of them works out that well. Because my build had over 400% Magic Find. I don't remember exactly what my quantity was, but I had the belt, I had the necklace, I had the rings, I had the gloves. I was running low life with the boots that had 100% Magic Find. I was I was doing everything. Like, my Magic Find build was min-maxed. Like, I'm telling you, like, min-maxed. Like, you were not getting, I was not getting more Magic Find on that build. Sorry. So, to make it short and simple, it sucks. It's really bad. And the thing you also have to consider is what I looked at the end of my 2 weeks. I started in the hole. And why is it that I started in the hole? Because I had to invest in that build. And I didn't go cheap on the build. I bought the best stuff because I had currency to start. So I invested capital because I was told that Magic Find was so much better. And I went into it hoping it would be better because I wanted to if it really was dropping, like, I don't know, I heard some crazy claims and people saying that that's what they were getting on these crazy claims, and you know the truth was it sucked. And even the people that were saying they were making it that, I know they weren't, because I switched back to my farming method and they were broke as shit, and I started making a shitload of currency again, and they were still broke as shit. And if it was really making them as much currency as the video was claiming and they were claiming, they wouldn't have been broke, and I wouldn't have been broke for those 2 weeks. What what actually happened though was I made worse currency, so my opportunity cost winded up being a loss, and then I also invested capital into a bad investment. So I wasted currency that I could have been making on something that didn't work. And I even went into the hole by spending currency that didn't wind up paying off for me. So it's a terrible idea. And like I said, this season's it would be even worse. Because you're talking about Awakener level 8, tier 16, 4 chisel Alk Vol with high rolls on it, running 4 sextants. That is not an easy map. And losing all of those stats alone are going to make that map that much harder to run, if even possible, on the build to actually clear the map. Um, and there's no arguing that. You only have so many stats on an item. And taking, even say I only take away 2 of my 6 stats, that's taking away a third of the stats that make me have more HP, more damage, more resistances. So if I do that with all my gear, I'm now at 2/3 of the strength that I was, which the truth is, most of the best Magic Find pieces do not just remove two of your stats. The items essentially become like blank spots in your build, where all they're really adding are like, Magic Find and quantity, and then maybe some mediocre stats, but they are not adding, the stats that you need. And with as hard as the game has become, I guarantee you the people that are going to make the videos are going to be like, run this low tier map and put easy mods on it, and you're going to be making shit tons of currency. And that's false. And what makes Magic Find and quantity on gear even worse is this. Magic Find and quantity that you have on gear does not affect the best mechanics for dropping currency. What am I talking about? Blight. It doesn't affect your currency on Blight. The only thing that it affects is your loot explosion. And that's in maps, like regular maps and in actual maps. It doesn't affect Legion. The only thing it affects in Legion, it's actually worse for Legion. On Legion, it only affects the trash mobs. It doesn't even affect the big monsters, the ones that, have the little symbols on their heads. It doesn't affect the chests. It doesn't affect literally everything in the game that has the best drop mechanics. Magic Find and quantity on gear does not affect it, which, that's the stuff we cash in on. It ain't affecting metamorphs, it ain't affecting blights, it ain't affecting chests, it ain't affecting timeless stuff, the big monsters, it ain't affecting the chests. So I mean, knowing that, I don't know how anyone could think this is a good idea unless they've been lied to and they've believed that lie. If you're gonna try it, you're gonna try it. But I figured I would at least tell you my experience and give you the facts. I hope that this saves you guys from a really poor investment, and I hope this prevents you from having a bad experience like I did. Thanks for watching. Peace out.